Okay, here's a video. I made one, but it was apparently too long. I have a bad habit of doing that. Questions on the fiance visa. My recommendation, first and foremost, is hire a lawyer. This is our second round on the I129F. The first time they denied something wrong in the paperwork and not enough proof or something like that. They didn't even get to interview process. They stopped it. Basically, what happened is I did the paperwork myself. We submitted it. We submitted the fees. After we done that, we waited and waited. When I done this, I was about 2 months pregnant, 2.5 months pregnant. When I had my daughter, she had a medical problems. If y'all watched the videos before, my daughter was born with a bad heart. In her first week of life, the doctors had called, pleading with the embassy, pleading with USCIS, speed it up. She doesn't have much time. He's not going to see his daughter. She passed a little over, I think, a little over a week and a half after that. She lived a total of 17 days. We got word 2 weeks after she had passed that he was denied. Sorry, I get emotional on this because she was our daughter. On this round, I highly recommend a lawyer. You can't really get through to the Indian embassy without a lawyer. I've had many couples tell me the same thing, that they've also struggled. They've put in themselves and they denied. The only ones that I've seen successfully pull their fiance with no lawyer help are the ones pulling them from Canada. The ones from Mexico are having problems, as well as anybody else. I have a friend at work. She's American citizen and her fiance is Hispanic. They're having trouble because of the fact that they didn't have a lawyer. So in my case, the way I see it is the government's very hard on this. Hire a lawyer. That's the only way you can get anywhere with this. They make sure the paperwork's correct. They make sure everything gets there on time. So the lawyer's the best bet. First step will be submit your I-29F. Once you have done that and you have paid the fee to USCIS or Department of Homeland Security, I think is the name you put on the money order, they will start processing. The total process time is supposed to be between 6 and 8 months. However, sorry, it's been more than 1.5 years for ours on the second round. The first round, it took 8 months just to hear he was denied. And that's after the doctors were pleading with them to speed it up. And that's what it expedited. It still took 3.5 weeks later to find out. So, my recommendation is a lawyer, and be prepared that it will take time. Submit any and all proof you can. Pictures, chats, videos, airplane tickets from where you have met within the past 2 years. Any kind of proof you can submit. I submitted that. I also submitted pictures of my tattoo as well as his tattoo, and I also submitted the birth certificate and death certificate of our daughter, as well as DNA records, just in case they want to say this could be any Indian man's baby. I submitted the DNA, and on top of that, I submitted pictures of her, and she looked just like her daddy, so there's not much denying he's the daddy. So I submitted all this stuff, as well as emails that I could. Cards are important, even as you continue a relationship and you're waiting on the embassy, waiting on the USCIS part to get done. Do birthday cards. Do every card for every occasion like you normally would, but in this case, make photocopies of the card. The reason being is that it will take time for you to get the originals back, and on top of that, your partner may be required to bring the originals with them to the embassy. So make photocopies of the card and send them on in like you would normally, because they may be required to bring them, and that way you have a proof of continuing relationship. Emails is also great, as long as they cannot pertain any information provided the immigration process. After you get through with this, and then they will contact you later on for more proof to prove the relationship is still continuing. Once you have done that, that's towards the end of the approval process. Once it's gotten there, then you will be told that you're approved from the USCIS point. At which point, then it goes to the embassy in the country that you're trying for. Fiance is the Delhi embassy, so it will go to that embassy. My suggestion is you bribe the post office, because apparently the post office is very crooked in India. Fiance's post office kept his information 2 weeks past the time he was supposed to got it. He was supposed to gotten it a month before his interview. He got it 2 weeks before his interview, because they held on to it because of jealousy or greed or whatever, I don't know. But he bribed them to make sure he got all the rest of his communications afterwards. That's just India for you. I love the culture, but sometimes some of the things are so crooked there. After that, you will be sent a paper. You have to go get a physical. The physical, he was told, had to be within 14 days before his interview, but it would take about 7 days to process the paper. So you have to go somewhere between 14 and 8 days to make sure you get this paper. The physical will cost you, it was supposed to be $300 US, about $350 US, but I'm not sure how much he actually paid, because they didn't give him all the shots he was supposed to get. So they only gave him 2 shots. Once you submit the paperwork and you have your physical and you gather any proof else is needed, you need to go to the embassy for your interview. My suggestion is you get there early. Puan got there 30 minutes to an hour before, which the lawyer recommended 30. They don't want you hanging around the embassy too long, but they want you to be there on time. So 30 minutes is good. If you're there 30 minutes prior to your interview, and that shows you're ready. You must bring your physical form. You must bring all these other forms that they tell you, which is why I recommend a lawyer, because it's going to be a lot. And with some of the forms, I had to sign and send to India. Now, if your fiance gets it in India, and he has to mail you the affidavit of financial support, and I had some other form I have to sign. If he has to mail it to you, it's going to take somewhere between 2 and 6 weeks for it to get to you from India. Parcels take 6 weeks. I'm not sure how long letters take. I think they're like 2.5 weeks from his village anyway. So, and then you'll have to sign it and mail it back, and then there's no time. However, if you have a lawyer, they will pull the documents that he is supposed to have, and you can go up to the lawyer's office and just sign away, and then that way it's already done. And then they'll fill out the paperwork and put little X's where he needs to sign, and he can just sign when he's there, or she, or whichever one it is. They can sign and then have everything done. This is why I recommend a lawyer. It's much better. It's easier, a lot easier on you to figure everything out. On the date of interview, it will be questions like, where did you meet? How did you meet? Did you meet his or her parents? Do you know where she works, he works? What do they do on their job? They're going to ask you all kinds of questions like this. They're going to ask you also other questions, just regular random questions like, how did you decide to put in for a fiance visa? Why are you doing this? What is your interest in going there? They'll ask you those questions. Puan's interview was a little different because they had to ask about our daughter, and obviously that's a sensitive subject, so I know he teared up on it. I don't know if he cried at it, but because we lost our daughter, but they had to ask questions because I did submit proof of our daughter, so they had to ask questions about it. They said his interview was good, but the thing is, he has to submit a paper from the passport office, which wasn't in the lawyer's packet or the packet he had, saying that, yes, this is his passport, yes, this is his photo, blah, 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 and he's got to courier it back to the embassy. So we're hoping to hear back within a week from it. So hopefully he got it and everything, because they said his interview was good, so that tells me they wouldn't need the paper if he didn't get it. So now we're just waiting on the finishing up tit for tat kind of thing, and then he should be here. So that's my video on it, and I will talk to you later.